A mother is missing her 16-year-old daughter.
Yeah, tomorrow marks 2 weeks since the Truckee teenager disappeared after attending a party at a campground.
Welcome back to What's the Obsession. My name is Kelly, and we're talking about the Kiely Rodni case to help ensure complete justice for Kiely. It's no secret that there are a lot of questions surrounding the investigation of Kiely Rodni. Many questions have come up. The biggest is how law enforcement, how did you guys not find her after 18 agencies with 300 feet on the ground, consuming over 19,000 man-hours, searched for her for over 12 days, and then Adventures with Purpose finally found her after 35 minutes of being at Prosser Lake. It's a big question, and it's a legitimate question. Along with that big legitimate question of how did you guys not find her are many additional questions, one of which has to do with a black, what appears to be bodysuit that a woman named Jessica found on August 8th, 2022. This is just 2 days after Kiely goes missing. Now, let me just explain to you why this is important. So, apparently, Kiely Rodni was wearing a black bodysuit the night she went missing, the night of the teen party of 300 to 400 people at Prosser Campground. How do we know this? Well, we see pictures of Kiely early that evening, the last known pictures of her, except perhaps pictures at the party, which have not been released. And then we also have video of Kiely's friend Sami explaining what it was that Kiely was wearing. Let's take a listen.
Party? Is that what she was wearing?
Yeah, so that top is exactly what I saw her in. If you can see on her left side, on her hip, you can see some skin. She was wearing a black bodysuit. I remember because we went to the bathroom together, peed in the woods together a couple of times, and so that's her shirt right there. The pants were different that she wore to the party. She was wearing green Dickies pants, but that belt is definitely what she was wearing too. I remember watching her have to take it off when we were using the restroom together. We were out using the outdoor restroom, if like popping squat, basically. So, yeah.
That was just released from the...
So now what's up with this black garment that was found on August 8th, 2022, just 2 days after Kiely went missing? Jessica, the woman that found this garment, was on a channel called Nerdy Addict, linked in the description. Great channel. I definitely suggest you check it out. They are mostly concerned with looking for missing children. I mean, what better cause is there than that? So let's take a listen to what Jessica had to say when she was on Nerdy Addict.
Sort of said, look, something seems wrong. When we came in contact with you, I actually thought you were a hoax yourself. You had come forward with a photo that looked like this, and there was a lot of chatter on social media on this is not Kiely's. And for me, look, I don't know. There's people in this case that look like Kiely, and I've mistaken for her. But when Eva pulled up her black jumper and zoomed in and started looking at how this thing was sort of thrown out and where it was, you sort of piqued our interest and started talking. And I sort of reached out and said, well, show me the receipt. And you came back and said, here it is. And I'm going to try to show that here. This is the geolocation of where that black jumper was found. We saw the service log. You sort of found this and felt that, as best as I can gracefully say it, you felt law enforcement sort of fell short in their response and their communication with you.
Yeah. So when I found it, I was just driving down a dirt road between Prosser and Boca, and it was in the middle of the road, and I had just passed some undercover detectives that were knocking on a camper door, and so I saw it in the road, and of course my eyes were alert that day because I had just heard about her going missing. And when they first came out, they said, she's wearing a black tank top. And so my eyes were open for that information that they had put out. This is before the surveillance came out. And so I saw it and I got out of my car, looked at it, took a picture, and drove back to where the detectives were and told them, hey, there's a black item of clothing in the middle of the road down there. And I went down and waited for about 15, 20 minutes for them to come back. They said, okay, we'll go bag it up. And they never came, and I had to go to my job. And so I went to my job, and when I came back about a half hour later, it was gone. And then I never heard anything from them about it. And the only thing they ever mentioned was on one of their press conferences, they said nothing was ever found. Not that, something was found and it wasn't hers. It was just, they said it was fake news. Nothing was ever found. There was no tank top ever found. There was nothing found.
And I guess we knew that, right? When law enforcement missed with the vehicle, we sort of had that feeling that reinforced it. And then I think we're not going to use names, and perhaps with time, there's some serious sort of safety questions at this point with other locals that are speaking to us. I have filtered those through Sleuthy, other members of the team, but generally put out quotes. And then you talk to another person that has been in the area that does search and rescue, supposedly on day 3, allegedly on day 3. Typically this person has, this area has wildfires. There's things that happen out here. So search and rescue is a big deal out there. She sort of was wondering where the call was from law enforcement, and they sort of said, look, we don't need you. This is an investigation. Don't need your search help. All of this combined really, really, I am data and technical bound. But when you start hearing this from valid people, legit people, right? There's no good reason for you to come out here or Twitter and say something's wrong. There's no value to you. In fact, it's probably harder for you. It makes me really wonder what's going on here. And I think some national news have picked up on this. Fox News Nation started using, the AWP sort of narrative that they also, they suspect foul play, and now news media are running with that narrative. It makes it hard because when you hear the data points, like that makes it hard for me. But I'm going to let you guys speak. I'm going to let you facilitate this part of the conversation, Eva, Sleuthy, Jess, and I will jump in if I have questions. But Jess, I appreciate your courage and bravery for speaking out and saying something, taking the time to answer my questions to make sure the geolocation was mathin'. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, I've been talking with the lady. She actually lives close by Boca, and she was part of a search team as well. And they found information that law enforcement never came and picked up. So, I mean, it's not just a matter of if this stuff is relevant to the case or not. It's just that they're not following up on any of the leads at all.
So you heard Jessica, a nerdy addict, and I think that clip speaks for itself. She said law enforcement did not pick up the article of clothing that she reported missing to authorities. And she waited for them. They never showed up. They never picked it up. And she said, based on what she knows, which is the same that we all think based on what we know, law enforcement didn't follow up with anything. They didn't follow up with any leads that we know of. And that's really the least of their sins. How have all of these mistakes been made? How did law enforcement not find Kiely? Was her car not in the lake at the time they searched the lake? How and why was Kiely's car, with her remains still in it, removed from Prosser Lake with such carelessness? Where the window is broken, the side view mirror was broken, the windows were not netted, and items fell out of her vehicle like her laptop and other personal belongings that were not even recovered by law enforcement. They were recovered by Check It TV. How did all of this happen? There are other mistakes, smaller mistakes, that I will be explaining in detail in successive videos. But when we think about all of the mistakes that we know about made by law enforcement while investigating Kiely Rodni's